Happy 4th of July, everybody. Happy birthday to the greatest country that mankind has ever known, America. If you happen to miss our live stream, if you're watching this on the replay, we did a huge celebratory live stream with Trump. Check that out. I'll leave a link in the pinned comment and description, or you can just go to my channel. Today, I'm going to talk about several things. Number one, Randi Weingarten, who is the head of the largest teachers union in the entire country, posting a happy 4th of July post that has gone so terribly wrong and is indicative of why public education, it's the perfect symbolism. It's the perfect metaphor as to why this really hits home with me. Education in our country is at an abysmal low, the worst it's been in the history of our founding. And then she deleted it, reposted, and it was even worse. I can't wait to share this with you. Also, CNN, of all the places, admitting that President Trump, his approval rating and his popularity supersedes one of the most revered presidents in the history of our country. I'm going to share that with you, as well as a patriotic kind of litmus test. Who's more patriotic? As a matter of fact, let's do this right now. Let me know in the comments down below. CNN did a major poll, which I have verified. Who is feeling more patriotic, has more love for America, Republicans or Democrats? I have a feeling my Smart Nez Nation audience, you guys already know this, but I'm going to share that with you, as well as an amazing poll on how Americans feel about deporting illegals. All that and a whole lot more. Don't go anywhere. But first, check this out. Here is the very first post that Randi Weingarten, who is the head, as I said, of the largest teachers union. You're not going to believe how much she makes. She makes over $500,000. She makes over $500,000 a year. And she posted this. Tell me what's wrong with this picture right here. On 4th of July, on our American Independence Day, of all days when education is facing the most gigantic opposition from anybody who has a brain inside their cranium and can see that our education system is such an absolute desecration of what it used to be. She posted this. This is one of my favorite pictures of the flag America with the sun peeking. Peeking. She misspelled peeking out. A beacon of light. And then look at this. This 4th of July, that's what I'm fighting for. She misspelled peaking. She misspelled the 4th. She gets paid over $500,000 a year. There's a reason why President Trump is eradicating the Department of Education, which, as somebody who used to be a professor teaching at some of the most prestigious universities in the country, I 100% back this 1,000,000%. But wait, it gets worse. She deleted this post, and then she posted this. Almost as if she got completely, lambasted by all the pushback and all of the people pointing out that she just made an absolute fool of herself. She posted this. And this is one of my favorite pictures of the flag. So she got peeking spelled correctly, but then what do you notice? She still misspelled the 4th. I mean, if this isn't the perfect symbolism of where we are as a country, I don't know what is. Never mind the fact that we have the lowest aptitude scores in the history of our country. We're supposed to be the superpower, the #1 nation, the leaders of the free world. We're like 40th in math. We're like 36th in reading. I don't even know what the numbers are, but I know they're abysmal. I remember during COVID when my kids were being homeschooled, and I said this back then, that education was completely exposed for the fallacy, for the farce that they have become over the last 50, 60 years. Teachers had no clue how to use any technology. They were teaching remedial stuff. I mean, it was like, I could have gotten more if they just watched Big Bird on Sesame Street than what they were teaching them. They had no clue, no aptitude, no rigor whatsoever. And then we wonder why our kids come out of school 100 times dumber and less smart than they were when they first went in. Never mind the fact at higher education, which was my specialty, We create, after we dumb them down and make them fall in line and turn them into sheep, we essentially pollute their brains with so much anti-American Bolshevik rhetoric. It's created people like Mangione, like this Zohran guy in New York City, and all of the protesters, rioters is a better term, that have littered our campuses, destroyed higher ed in every facet, every form, creating tyranny, blocking students from going to the classes that their parents paid for, like me. It's an absolute abomination. She gets paid $500,000 a year. That right there. Share this with everybody you know. If you know somebody this summer, this coming fall, going to a university, any of your nieces, nephews, your daughter-in-law, whatever, your kids, your grandkids that are going to school, share this video with them. This says it all. Okay, now let's get to the good stuff. In this first clip, according to CNN data, President Trump is the most loved Republican president in history, even beating Ronald Reagan at this point in time. This guy who works for CNN, I love this guy's passion. I love this guy's energy. You know him. I know him. Check this out.
I mean, every politician would like this number here, especially to see it go up. How about compared to other presidents who were Republicans?
Yeah, it's history making. It's history making. What are we talking about here? So why don't we look back? We have all the presidents, Republican presidents, going back over the last 35, 36, 37 years. What are we talking about? GOP, who strongly approved 5 months in. Look at this. George H.W. Bush, Bush 41, 46%. Bush 43, 59. You see Trump, the first term, 53. But look at this. 63%. He beats all the other Republicans on the board here. And I was looking even back since Reagan. And get this, Donald Trump beats Ronald Reagan when it comes to the strongly approved 5 months. And of course, Reagan was coming off that high after that assassination attempt. So the bottom line is Donald Trump is making history with the Republican base. He is more beloved by this Republican base than any Republican base loved any GOP president 5 months in. It is history making.
Is anybody really surprised by that? I'm not, because you know what? The American people have spoken. And this is why the Democrats have the lowest approval rating in the history. It's so amazing, America. I love you guys. And I would even go as far as say it's not even right or Republican. I think there is a large contingent of Americans, much like myself, who don't really identify with any party specifically. As I've always said, if I had to identify myself, if somebody put a gun to my head, I would say I'm more of a constitutional centrist than anything. I love America. I love the values and principles embedded in the fabric of our nation. It has nothing to do with party. This is really a revolution of common sense. He has changed the political landscape forever. But wait, it gets better. CNN is now forced to admit that the number of layoffs has dropped by 49% due to Trump's booming economy. Remember Pocahontas? Remember Schiff? Remember all these ridiculous hypocrites saying, oh my God, the economy is going to be destroyed. AOC, the Bolsheviks, the communists who know nothing, saying that this is going to be the worst thing, swallows well, all those mooks. Watch this.
Ben joins me now. Give us some context here on what this report tells us about the economy and what you're seeing.
Well, Sarah, this report paints the picture of a jobs market that is holding up better than feared. Layoff announcements skyrocketed earlier this year, but thankfully they are coming back to earth. So Challenger Gray and Christmas found that in June there were about 48,000 layoff announcements. That is down sharply by 49% from May, and it is even a little bit lower, 2% lower than last June. And when we look at the trend for layoff announcements, they were trending higher and higher earlier this year. This looks back to the beginning of 2024, and you can see they were really low last year, skyrocketed around February and March. In fact, March was about 5 times higher than June, and this, of course, was driven in large part by Doge. Right?
It's so interesting to me. It's like the hat is so absolutely 100% factual. Trump was right about everything. Tariffs are working. Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, one of probably the best cabinet picks in the history of cabinet picks. It just makes all the sense in the world. This is why he won in a resounding mandate on November 5th, 2024. And he definitely won in 2022. We're not going to get into that. That's neither here nor there, even though it's a huge, I feel like I'm starting to sound like Trump. It's a huge problem. They cheated. It was rigged, quite frankly, probably the most rigged election of all time. That's why I watch Professor Nez. He's the greatest of all time. I love you, Mr. President. Thank you. This is why This is why his approval ratings are so high. This is why, because this guy has been proven right time and time again about the media, about the left, about the hypocrites, about foreign affairs, about global geopolitical maneuvering, nuances, the economy, jobs, everything, security, our military, everything, our border. He's been right about everything. Check this out. Here is, I don't know what you put in the comments down below before this video, or maybe you haven't commented yet. If you want to, do a quick comment right now. Who do you think is going to come out on top? This is a CNN poll gauging who is more proud and feels more proud to be an American, Republicans or Democrats. These numbers are scary, and I have the exact reason why. The irony of this is not lost upon me, and I hope it's not lost upon you as well. Watch.
Erica, my friend, happy 4th of July. And today on our Independence Day, I'm looking into whether or not Americans feel proud to be an American. And as it turns out, Democrats, their percentage who say they're proud to be an American has fallen through the floor. What are we talking about? Take a look here. Democrats' pride to be an American, extremely or very proud. In 2015, look at this. 4 out of 5 Democrats were extremely or very proud to be an American. That number has plummeted to just 36% now in 2025. A low this century has fallen by more than half since 2015 as Donald Trump has become, of course, president once again this year. Now, what is driving that decline? Well, a lot of it has to do with age. What are we talking about? Well, Generation Z Democrats, proud to be an American or not. Of course, Generation Z, born since 1997. Look at this. Only 24% of Generation Z Democrats are extremely or very proud to be an American. That is actually lower, Erica. That is lower than the percentage who say they have little or no pride to be an American at 32%. I just never thought I'd see these numbers based upon where we were a decade ago, but that's exactly where we are. Now, if Democrats have extremely less pride to be an American than they used to, what about Republicans? Well, this is where the trend line gets interesting, because with Republicans, there is no trend line. In fact, take a look here. Republicans' pride to be an American, extremely or very proud. In 2015, it was 90% back when Barack Obama was serving his second term. Now in Donald Trump's second term, it's basically the same percentage, 92%. So Republicans still are extremely or very proud to be an American. Democrats, on the other hand, have seen their numbers fall through the floor, led, of course, by the youngest generation, Generation Z. We'll see how these numbers turn going forward.
I can't wait to get your comments on what you think of that. Here's what I have to say about this. It's not surprising to me one bit. The irony is this is the same network that has propagated so much false information, so much propaganda against this president, against America, against every success that Trump has put forth, as well as every single corporate media network. You've got higher education, which, gives this kind of story a sort of full circle here, coming back to what we talked about in the beginning of the video. You've got higher education that does nothing but convey how much America is a colonial empire, imperialistic, racist, bigoted. We're just tyrannical. We're fascist. I mean, that's all they do. And they promote DEI every single term. When I was a professor, this was years ago, by the way, because this is systemic. This has been systemic. DEI, I got DEI emails by the dozen every single day. There wasn't a day that went by where I didn't get an email. Come to our DEI program. Come to our DEI event. Come to our diversity and equity training session. Come to our open forum. Come to our, oh my gosh, every single day. So these numbers don't surprise me. They're actually probably a lot higher for Republicans and maybe even a lot lower for Democrats when you have this apparatus that is constantly giving a good portion of our Americans, pollution of the brain and soul when it comes to our country, our achievements, our successes, our forefathers, everything our country stands for, everything that this amazing president is doing to fix the broken, fractured country that this dark Kamala Biden regime left us. Of course, those numbers make complete sense to me. And so that's why I say making common sense go viral, the mission of our channel, is so important, because even though we won the battle on November 5th, 2024, the war rages on because these guys will not stop. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Okay, I think I saved the best for last. Another CNN poll, the majority of Americans were polled on whether or not they want to deport all, not just some, all illegal aliens. I think these numbers reflect exactly how I feel and you feel, and maybe even a lot more, as we know polls don't really grasp the full totality of the picture, but this is good. Check this out.
And immigrants. So we have slightly different questions, but these were all taken within the last month. And there's real uniformity here. That's what I really think you see. You see real uniformity. Deport all immigrants who are here illegally. 55% of the New York Times. Marquette, 64%. CBS News, 57%. ABC News with a slightly different question, 56%. So what you're seeing essentially here is very clear indication that a majority of Americans, in fact, when they're asked this blunt question, which I believe gets at the underlying feelings, do in fact want to deport all immigrants who are here illegally. There's no arguing with these different numbers because they're all essentially the same across 4 different pollsters.
So if they say yes today-ish, how has that changed over time?
Yeah, this is where I think you get very interesting. And so we'll take a look at that ABC News question in particular, because you can really see that there's been a massive shift from when Trump was first getting into office 8 years ago, right? Deport all undocumented immigrants. You go back to 2015, I'm going to come to your side of the screen, it was 42%. Hello. Go to 2016, it was 36%. Look at where we are now. This was taken at the end of last year, 56%. This is 20 points higher than it was just before Trump got into office the first time.
So like I've been saying this whole time, this goes out to you, Mayor Do-Nothing Baz and Gavin Newsom and Mayor Johnson and Pritzker and Hochul and all you decrepit Hippocrats. Whenever you attack ICE, you know, Hakeem Jeffries actually going and saying that we're trying to pass legislation so ICE agents are not allowed to wear masks, and the only reason they were wearing masks is because they were afraid for their families being doxxed. You have an increase in attacks on ICE agents over 500%, some estimates at 700%. Every time you go on the air and you tell ICE to go home, every time you go on the air and say, they're getting rid of people, they're disappearing people like Bolshevik communist AOC, you're lying, A, and B, you're defying the will of the American people. Your own Hippocratic propagandist network, CNN, did their own studies, did their own polls across all the Hippocratic network. Every time you attack ICE, and you discredit and dishonor legal immigrants. I think President Trump's being very generous by saying, if you deport yourself, we'll give you a chance to come back in. I mean, it's nuts to me. We're in the year of our Lord 2025. We have to say that out loud. You can't be here illegally. You're breaking the law. It's just nuts. We all know why. Because without illegals, they don't have any power. They don't have the votes because they promised these illegals money. They promised them credit cards, room and lodge, free health care, free benefits, etc., all for their votes so they can remain in power because they're scared to death that they have to actually do real work and hold a real job, which they've never done in their entire lives. That's the difference between Trump and everybody else, is Trump has worked. He earned his status. He earned his wealth. Yeah, his father helped him out, but you can't just get along with that for 40, 50, 60 years. This man has built empire after empire. He is a builder. He is an innovator. He is an impresario. He is an entrepreneur of the highest order, a real estate mogul. I mean, there's countless successes that this guy has had, even way post his father helping him. And so he's somebody who has actually rolled his sleeves up and done the work. None of these guys, this whole swamp vermin, they haven't done any work. So it makes sense to me. I just can't wait to get your thoughts on this. Please, if you have a moment, it doesn't cost you a thing. Please tap that thumbs up. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us out immeasurably so we can keep creating this free content. Your support is genuinely appreciated. I really, really appreciate that. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right here, just in case you missed them. Tap my face right here to subscribe and follow. It's free. If you want to get this amazing one-of-a-kind hat, our shop is in the link below. And as always, may God bless you and may God bless the USA and all who defend her. I'll see you soon.